You know that feeling when you're like scrolling on your phone late at night and you see yet another ad for passive income?
Oh, yeah. The classic work from home opportunity popping up at 2 in the morning.
Exactly. And it's usually, some guy standing in front of a leased sports car, pointing at a whiteboard and promising you absolute financial freedom by next Tuesday.
Right, which always sounds entirely too good to be true.
Right. And it leaves you feeling either like completely overwhelmed by the hype or just deeply cynical about the whole internet economy.
Absolutely. It's a huge red flag for most people.
Well, welcome to the deep dive. Because today we are looking under the hood of one of these systems to see what is actually going on behind the curtain.
Yeah, we really wanted to dig into the nuts and bolts of this one.
We've got a massive stack of sources for you today. Internal documents, onboarding playbooks, and sales materials from a company called the Home Business Academy, or HBA.
And our mission today is to completely dissect their specific blueprint for what they call residual income.
We're going to examine the literal math behind their claims, look at the software they're selling, and figure out exactly how they attempt to separate themselves from that typical, sleazy hype of the home business industry.
And just to set the stage right up front, we are not endorsing this platform or any of its products.
No, definitely not.
We are simply here to unpack the mechanics of their blueprint and see what makes it tick, impartially.
Right, impartial analysis only. So to truly understand their model, where do we start?
Well, we have to look past the shiny marketing and focus purely on the structural architecture of what they've built.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because, the home business landscape is absolutely saturated with empty promises. We are naturally wired to be skeptical of anything pitching a shortcut to wealth.
Oh, for sure. Everyone's guard is up.
And that skepticism is usually justified, right? Because the mechanics of how these programs actually work are almost always hidden behind a paywall.
Or like a grueling 3-hour webinar where they never actually tell you the price until the very end.
Exactly. So we need to separate the emotional appeal they're making from the actual day-to-day business mechanics they're asking their users to execute.
Okay, let's unpack this. If we are going to look at the mechanics, I guess we have to figure out why they built this specific system in the first place.
Right, the origin story.
Yeah, because the internal documents dedicate a lot of time to the founder's origin story, which seems to heavily dictate how their software and their comp plan are structured.
It really does. So the founders are Paul Hutchings and Mike Hobbs. And according to their internal narrative, these two had previously made over $2 million in various home businesses.
Wow, 2 million.
Yeah, but they don't use that figure to take a victory lap, interestingly enough. The story they tell their prospective users is actually a story about getting burned by the industry.
Wait, how do you get burned if you're making millions?
Well, they describe building these huge sales teams in other companies only to have the compensation plans secretly changed on them overnight.
Oh, wow. That's brutal.
Or they would have their entire income just vanish because a parent company decided to implement new arbitrary rules.
Looking at some of the typical compensation plans out there, it honestly feels like trying to read a convoluted tax code.
That is a perfect way to describe it.
Like, you think you're getting a refund, and then some obscure trapdoor rule on page 4 wipes it all out. Companies use resetting ranks, impossible volume quotas, or arbitrary rules just to protect their own profit margins.
Exactly.
There's even a joke in the HBA text about getting fired from a previous company simply for using Craigslist to find leads. I mean, it's wild. So how do they claim to fix that?
Well, they frame the entire creation of HBA as a direct reaction to those industry trapdoors. The founders state they built the company on 3 foundational rules.
Okay, what are they?
Number 1, never change the compensation plan. Number 2, never quit on people. And number 3, put people first even when it hurts the bottom line.
I mean, that sounds great on paper, but it also sounds like typical corporate speak.
Right, which is why, to prove it's not just talk, they rely heavily on one specific anecdote in their onboarding materials.
Oh, the merchant processor story?
Yeah. They describe a time when their merchant processor suddenly put a 50% hold on their funds.
Yikes.
At the time, HBA owed their affiliates over $100,000 a month in commissions, but only half of that money was accessible to the company.
So in a normal gig economy scenario, the platform would just, send an email saying payouts are delayed for 30 days due to processing errors.
Yeah, and the independent contractors would just have to deal with it.
Right. But what did HBA do?
Instead of delaying those payouts, Paul and Mike took out a $250,000 personal loan to bridge the gap.
A personal loan?
Yep, they went into personal debt to ensure every single affiliate got their full check on time.
What a wild move. But if we connect this to the bigger picture from a business strategy perspective, that is incredibly potent.
It really is.
Because in the gig economy, trust is the absolute rarest commodity. Most of these platforms view their affiliates as entirely expendable marketing assets.
Exactly, he's just a number.
So by publicly guaranteeing an unchanging compensation plan and pointing out that it hasn't changed a single time in 10 years and sharing stories of taking on personal debt to protect their users, they are doing something very intentional.
Right, they're selling psychological safety.
Yes, exactly.
They're establishing a mode of trust. They even highlight their philanthropic work, noting they've provided over 400,000 days of meals to children through Feed My Starving Children.
That's a huge number.
It is. The explicit goal they state in their materials is to give their members a business they can, quote, brag about, unquote, instead of feeling awkward when people ask what they do for a living.
Okay, but a compelling origin story and a feeling of psychological safety might get someone to sign up, but goodwill doesn't pay the mortgage.
No, it certainly doesn't.
A business only survives if the numbers actually work. So if a new user comes into the system relying on that trust, what is the literal math they have to conquer to get to profitability?
Well, the documents outline a specific on-ramp they call the Triple Residual Starter Pack, which costs a user $35 to get through the door.
Hold on, before we get into the monthly costs. What does triple residuals actually mean? Because that sounds like classic marketing jargon.
It totally does. It refers to the 3 distinct income streams a user can earn commissions on, which align with their 3 core software products.
Okay, got it.
But the engine driving all of this is their commission structure. They pay out an 80% commission on every product with absolutely no splits and no pass-ups.
We should probably define those terms for anyone who hasn't been in the network marketing trenches.
Good call. So a split is when you make a sale, but you have to share a percentage of your commission with the person who recruited you.
Which is super common.
Extremely. And a pass-up is a notorious industry rule where you are forced to give away the commissions from your first few sales entirely to your upline before you're allowed to start keeping the money for yourself.
Oh, that's just frustrating.
Right. But HBA claims to have eliminated both of those hurdles. If you make the sale, you keep the full 80%.
Okay, so a user pays $35 to start, but what is the actual recurring cost to run this business? I mean, what's the overhead?
To access the full suite of tools and maximize the compensation plan, a user is looking at a net residual income overhead of $160 a month.
Okay, 160. How does that break down?
It breaks down to 3 products: an app called Let's Goal for $10, the Funnel Builder software for $25, and their premium tier for $125.
Right. And because of that flat 80% commission rate, if you refer just one person who buys that same full suite, you earn $128 a month in residual commission.
Exactly. And if you refer 2 people, you're making $256 a month.
Which brings us to the critical benchmark in their entire system. At 2 referrals, your incoming commissions of $256 actually exceed your own $160 monthly overhead.
Yes, you are officially operating at a positive cash flow of $96 a month in pure profit.
And the internal playbook constantly reinforces this metric, right? Like 2 referrals equals positive cash flow.
It's everywhere in their materials. And the playbook scales that math out to show what a full-time income looks like. It claims that if you get to 24 active referrals on the full suite, you are generating $2,912 a month in net profit.
That's a very specific number.
It is. And to ground these numbers in reality, the founders include a story in the internal playbook about Paul's very first online commission.
Oh, the check story.
Yeah, it was a check for $65.
Yeah.
He actually taped it to the wall above his desk in his single-wide mobile home.
Oh, that's kind of sweet.
Because it wasn't about the amount of money for him. It was the absolute, undeniable proof that the internet economy could work for him. I mean, if he could generate 1 check, he could generate 2.
Right. And tangible proof of concept is incredibly motivating for a beginner. It shifts the entire endeavor from a theoretical concept to a reality.
It really does.
However, we have to look critically at the inherent vulnerability of this specific financial model.
Oh, absolutely.
Because looking at these numbers, my immediate thought is, isn't this just a glorified game of musical chairs?
That is the big
Like,
question.
you recruit 2 people to cover your costs, which is great. But what if one of them quits the next month? Now you're back in the red.
Right.
So you have to go recruit 3 more people, then 2 of them quit. It sounds less like a sustainable business and more like you're running on a treadmill, constantly trying to replace churn just to break even.
Well, that is the defining trap of what the industry refers to as opportunity bait.
Opportunity bait.
Yeah. It happens when people only buy the products to access the compensation plan, not because the products themselves hold any intrinsic value.
Ah, so they're buying the dream of making money, not a solution to a real-world problem.
Exactly. And if the income opportunity went away, they would cancel their subscription immediately.
That makes total sense.
So, HBA's claim solution to this treadmill critique relies entirely on one factor, which is retention. If their business model is going to survive, they absolutely must offer software products that people actually use and love, independently of the income opportunity.
Because the moment a customer cancels, the affiliate's residual income just vanishes.
Gone.
That puts an immense amount of pressure on the products themselves. If they are charging $160 a month, these tools have to be incredibly sticky to keep people paying.
They do.
So let's look at what they are actually selling.
Well, first tier is the Let's Go app at $10 a month. Interestingly, this isn't a marketing tool at all.
Oh, really?
No, it's a personal growth and productivity application. It features a structured morning routine, a digital journal, a vision board, habit tracking, and gratitude logs.
Oh, wow.
It even includes a resource they call the Little Book of Magic Affirmations.
Okay, I have to admit, a productivity app might seem a little out of place for a business academy.
Right. It seems random at first glance.
But the testimonials show exactly why it's there. Like, one user named Matthew states he lost 60 pounds just by incorporating the Let's Go morning routine into his daily life.
60 pounds.
Yeah. And if a piece of software is tied to you losing 60 pounds, you are emotionally attached to it. You aren't going to cancel that $10 subscription just because your side hustle is having a slow month.
Exactly. It creates a massive behavioral anchor.
Right. So what's the next product?
Next is the HBA Funnel Builder at $25 a month. They market this aggressively on price, pointing out that it costs just 82 cents per day, which they say is cheaper than buying 3 gumballs from a machine.
I love the gumball analogy.
Yeah.
Very visual.
It works, right? And this tool allows users to build unlimited websites, custom domains, sales pages, and membership sites. They describe it as a 24/7 automated sales robot.
Nice.
And what really stands out here is that they include live interactive training called the Funnel Builders Academy, ensuring users aren't just handed complex tech and left to figure it out entirely alone.
So they are positioning this directly against the expensive enterprise software in the market that charges, hundreds of dollars a month for the exact same features.
Yep, that's their angle.
But here's where it gets really interesting. The real heavy hitter, the thing that justifies the bulk of that monthly cost, is their HBA premium tier at $125 a month.
Oh, definitely.
Because this is where they integrate advanced automation and artificial intelligence.
They've heavily capitalized on the broader AI revolution by rebuilding their platform to integrate an impressive suite of tools.
Yeah, the premium tier gives users access to things like the Van Gogh AI Image Studio, which generates professional graphics in seconds.
That's super useful.
And there's a tool called Smart Post that takes a single video and automatically optimizes and blasts it out to 5 different social platforms.
Which saves so much time.
Exactly. They have PromptWrite AI for generating sales copy. But the most fascinating one in the sources is the Email Alchemist.
The Email Alchemist. I love that name.
It's great, right? This is an AI trained on a specific database of 1,800 successful marketing emails that have historically produced over $10 million in sales.
Wow.
You literally just plug in your topic, and it writes high-converting emails for you based on that massive proven data set.
What's fascinating here is if you consider what this means for a beginner, it radically lowers the barrier to entry. I mean, writing persuasive sales copy is an incredibly difficult skill.
For sure. It's an art.
It is, and staring at a blank page is where most new marketers just quit. The Email Alchemist removes the blank page syndrome entirely.
Totally.
But, if we analyze the premium tier closely, the software is actually just the vehicle. The real product they are selling to prevent churn is access.
Access to the founders and the community.
Exactly. The premium tier includes daily live coaching sessions, 5 days a week, with the founders and top earners.
That's a lot of FaceTime.
It is. Because home businesses are notoriously isolating. You are typically sitting alone at your kitchen table trying to decipher internet marketing algorithms.
It's a lonely road.
It really is. So HBA is selling a cure to that isolation. They offer a 24/7 community where users can get their questions answered instantly. As one testimonial from a 20-year industry veteran named Amy noted, she had never been in a community where people weren't segregated by their rank or income level.
Wow. So the community becomes the moat against cancellation. It's actually brilliant from a retention standpoint.
It really is.
And looking at these premium tools, they're essentially providing a staff of digital employees. These AI tools never sleep, they never complain about the workload, they never ask for a raise, and they handle the heavy lifting of graphic design, copywriting, and social media distribution.
Which perfectly sets the stage for the most critical part of their operation.
Okay, what's that?
Well, having great software and a supportive community is wonderful, but how does a complete beginner, someone who has literally never sold a single thing in their life, actually execute a sale?
Right, because you can have the best AI in the world, but if you don't know how to get someone to look at it, you aren't going to make a dime.
Exactly.
So let's open up their internal document, the free and in-profit playbook. This is the exact 30-day roadmap they hand to brand new users to secure those first 2 referrals.
This part is fascinating.
It is. The overarching goal, their North Star for month 1, is to generate 100 leads in 30 days. And they start on day 1 with a tool called the Fast Start Inviter.
Right, so the Fast Start Inviter is an automated system that syncs directly with a user's Facebook account. The playbook instructs the user to turn it on, and it will automatically send 10 direct messages a day to the user's existing Facebook friends.
And it smartly filters out anyone who is already an HBA member, right?
Exactly, so you don't pitch people already in the system.
No, automating messages to your friends and family sounds like an absolute recipe for social disaster.
Oh, completely. It's the worst.
I mean, everyone has gotten that cringy message from a high school acquaintance pitching a miracle weight loss shake.
We've all been there.
But the playbook details the exact psychological principles baked into these pre-written messages to avoid that exact scenario. It's a highly structured 5-step process.
Okay, break it down for us.
First, express genuine goodwill. Second, remove all pressure. Third, arouse curiosity. Fourth, deliver the invite. And fifth, nourish the relationship regardless of their answer.
That's actually very thoughtful.
It is. It's designed to get a clean yes or no while keeping the friendship totally intact.
Well, this raises an important question about human behavior, really. The biggest hurdle for any beginner in sales is the paralyzing fear of rejection. It's the sheer awkwardness of pitching someone they know. But HBA has engineered a system that completely absorbs that awkwardness. If a friend replies no, the playbook explicitly instructs the user to thank them warmly and just chat about life. Do not push.
Don't ruin the friendship.
Exactly. But if they say yes, the user executes a very specific maneuver they call the yes play.
The yes play is fascinatingly simple. You don't send them a link to buy anything.
You don't?
Nope. You just ask for their best email address. Once they give it to you, you drop that email into the HBA emailer tool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and that single action instantly triggers a pre-written 7-email sequence that drips out over 11 days. As the user, you literally just say, awesome, send it over, let me know if you have questions.
Notice what the system is doing here. The user isn't explaining the compensation plan. They aren't trying to sell the software features or memorize product specs. The 11-day automated email sequence does the entirety of the presenting.
But what happens when the friend replies with a complicated question about the comp plan or the AI tools? Because this is usually where the beginner freezes up and loses the sale, because they just don't know the answer.
Right, but the playbook anticipates this and tells the user exactly what to do. You don't even try to answer it.
Wait, really?
Really. You tell your friend to go to the sales page and ask the AI chatbot, Sage.
You literally tell them, hey, I don't know the answer, but the Sage chatbot is super smart. Go ask it.
Yeah, that's the script.
The sheer psychological relief this provides for a beginner is massive. You get to stay the supportive friend, and the artificial intelligence becomes the salesperson. You never have to be the expert in the room.
It removes the friction from the sales process almost entirely. To explain this strategy, the playbook uses a really effective fitness analogy.
Oh, I love this part.
They compare the Fast Start Inviter, messaging your warm market of friends, to cardio. It gets your heart rate up immediately, burns calories right now, and builds your email list quickly.
But you can't just do cardio forever.
Eventually, you run out of friends to message. So they pair it with what they call weights, which is their Traffic Maestro content strategy.
Yeah, the weight training is for long-term lead flow. Once you've set up your profile and identified your target market, the Traffic Maestro tells you exactly what kind of educational or entertaining content to post on social media every single day.
So you're attracting new people organically.
Exactly. So the cardio gets you those first few quick wins to hit that positive cash flow, and the weight training builds the long-term sustainable engine of the business.
If we step back and look at the mechanics of this entire ecosystem, HBA has created a completely closed loop. The automated inviter initiates the contact. The automated email sequence delivers the pitch. The AI chatbot handles all the complex objections.
It's all done for you.
And once a new person joins, they are trained by the daily live community calls, not by the beginner who invited them. The individual affiliate's only real job, as the playbook explicitly states, is volume and friendship.
Volume and friendship. That is a wild distillation of a business strategy.
It really is.
So, to bring this all together and recap what we've unpacked today, the Home Business Academy has built an ecosystem founded on an unchangeable 80% compensation plan, heavily leveraging their founder's origin story to create psychological safety.
Right.
They're selling digital tools that rely on AI, automation, and an incredibly active community to justify their monthly subscription costs and prevent people from canceling.
Exactly.
And finally, they provide a highly structured, automated playbook designed to get users to positive cash flow with just 2 referrals by systematically removing the awkwardness of traditional selling.
It is a meticulously designed blueprint for residual income. It relies entirely on software retention and automated systems to overcome the usual pitfalls and high failure rates of the home business industry.
It does.
And again, whether it is the right vehicle for any given individual is a personal decision, but the mechanics of how they have structured this leverage are undeniably fascinating.
Yeah, they really are. And I think it leaves you with one final provocative thought to mull over today. We've just dissected a system where the pitching, the follow-up, the objection handling, and even the product training are increasingly being handed over to artificial intelligence and automated sequences.
Right. Human involvement is getting smaller and smaller.
Exactly. So if platforms like HBA continue to refine this, what does the future of sales actually look like?
I mean, if artificial intelligence becomes the ultimate closer, the flawless presenter who never gets tired, never has a bad day, and instantly knows every answer to every objection.
Then maybe the only real value left for humans to provide in the gig economy is that initial handshake. Will personal relationships simply become top-of-funnel lead generation for automated systems?
That's a huge question.
Or, by removing the pressure of the sales pitch, does this technology actually allow for more genuine human connection? Because you don't have to view your friends as transactions anymore. You just invite them and let the robots do the heavy lifting.
Let the robots do the work.
Yeah, it's like those late night ads for passive income we talked about at the very beginning, except maybe, just maybe, the robots are finally the ones doing the actual work. Something to think about until next time.